Just read this morning that Texas farmers are closing down because they can't find laborers to work their fields. Are you telling me white people won't work in the fields? Hey, all of you who thought they were taking your jobs, accepting applications now.
Farms in deep red Texas are shut down, and Donald Trump is the reason. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has shifted ICE from focusing on criminal immigrants to going after easier targets such as job sites to pump his numbers up. But farms are hurting because of this, as many of their workers are either being deported or not showing up for fear of being caught up in these raids. And because of this, they're essentially shut down and no work can be done. Just take a listen to one farmer.
3 weeks it started to slow, but this last week or so has been huge. That's when it's like zero people wanting to come out. And
yeah, zero people going to work the farms. And while yes, these farmers are in the find out phase, we're all going to be in it, because they're talking that our food supply is going to be shut down or have major interruptions. And it's not just Texas, it's California and Washington. We are finding out that yes, immigrants do help the American economy. Immigrants are part of the American fabric. We just didn't realize it till it was too late.
Regarding all these farmers that are now crying about possibly losing their farms because they voted for Trump, this is why you absolutely should not feel bad for any of these farmers that voted for Trump. Now, the ones that didn't vote, yes, feel sorry for them, go support them, do whatever you need to do. But the ones that voted for Trump, do not feel sorry for them, and let me tell you why. I am a builder, and I've been building shit in Oklahoma City going on like 20 years now, and farmers are not stupid. If you have the ability to manage a farm and understand the weather, the climate, your machinery, the chemistry that goes into your crops, you are not a stupid person. You're just not. And especially when you come from generational farming, you have the ability to look ahead and predict what you need to survive. And so when you have two candidates where you have Kamala Harris on one side giving you a whole fucking list of shit that she's going to do for you and make your life better, and then you have Trump on the other side who can't even come out with a normal sounding sentence, and you still vote for that guy and you are a farmer, you are either racist or sexist or both. And they're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated. Got that? They are being treated how they voted for other minorities, people of color, everybody else, poor people, sick people. That's how they voted for other people to be treated. And now they're the ones being treated that way by losing their livelihood, their homes, their income, their farms. So do not feel sorry for them. This is exactly what they had coming.
There is a farmer who is going super viral right now because he's making many videos about how he's in trouble due to the current administration and how he might lose his farm, which is, of course, devastating, and nobody wants to lose their farm. And if you look at the comment section and you look at his follow-up videos, it's abundantly clear that he never bothered to consider Project 2025 or the plans that Trump clearly had for small farmers. How long were we sounding the alarm bells for Project 2025? How many videos have I personally made educating people on Project 2025? It is devastating and not at all surprising how you all voted against your own interests and now you're complaining about it. We told you.
MAGA farmers shared policies thinking it would only hurt immigrants without thinking about their livelihoods. They were convinced that immigrants were the problem, but they never stopped to ask what would happen when millions of workers disappear from our farms, That's why hate and racism is very expensive. So let's have a look, then I'll come back with more, all right? Let's get into it.
America already has labor shortages, housing shortages, rising inflation, expensive food, super expensive construction, super expensive rent, delayed infrastructure projects, and we're deporting immigrant workers at a record number at the same time. Who pours concrete? Who frames houses? Who installs roofs? Who tiles bathrooms? Who picks the crops that you eat? Who works food processing? Who works at the warehouses? Who cleans hotels? Who rebuilds cities after hurricanes and fires? Meanwhile, everybody's online screaming, why are homes so expensive? Why? Because reality matters. You cannot have labor shortages, tariffs increasing material costs, fewer workers, deportations, higher interest rates, and somehow expect housing prices to magically collapse. And this goes way beyond construction. Agriculture, restaurants, hotels, landscaping, warehouses, factories, elder care. Who's going to take care of our old people? America, whether you like it or not, has become dependent on immigrant labor, and it happened decades ago. And now people say, well, Americans are going to do these jobs. Okay, where are they? The unemployment rate in most skilled trades is super low. There are not millions of unemployed roofers, welders, drywall installers, masons, farm workers sitting home waiting to start work tomorrow. The workforce does not magically appear overnight after you kick everybody out. And now economists are warning something called a labor shock, meaning too many workers disappearing too fast. So what happens after a labor shock? Prices skyrocket. Food costs skyrocket, housing costs skyrocket, project stalls, businesses panic, inflation goes crazy. So this is no longer an immigration issue. You don't like standing next to somebody who doesn't look like you, sound like you, act like you. This is becoming an economic issue for every American.
Next up on the FAFO tour, Texas farmers. One day, these farms in Texas had hundreds of workers tending the fields and the livestock, and the very next day, all of those workers are gone. That's what has happened in Texas. And entire fields of crops are being left to rot because there's no one to pick them. Livestock, like dairy cows, that have to be milked twice a day when they're lactating, there's no one to tend to them. These farms are going to go under. And it's not going to just affect Texas farmers. This is going to affect the breadbasket of the nation very soon. Most of these farmers voted for the felon in chief. And now they are reaping what they have sown, quite literally. Is America great yet? And all of these red-faced conservative MAGA folk who have complained for years about these illegal immigrants are taking our jobs. It's funny, they're not lining up to go work out in these fields for that low pay out in the hot sun. And what's unspoken is many of these farmers and many of these racists thought that we black Americans were going to rush out there because they have come to believe their own racist stereotypes and lies about black people. And they did. They thought we were going to line up to go work in those fields. Ha ha, tricks are for kids. Our ancestors already been there and done that, and they were not paid at all. They were forced to work in fields, whipped and tortured. This is a new day. And so I suggest everyone who has ever complained about illegal immigrants taking our jobs, you get you some 100 SPF sunscreen and get your ass out there in the fields if you want produce, period, in your grocery stores. And think about this. This is going to have a ripple effect. Think about all the businesses that are vendors and customers of these farms. There's no one to buy fertilizer, farm implements, pesticides. Many restaurants that are farm to table, where they're going to get their meat and their produce. Racism is expensive, and it is going to be the ruin of this nation. It's already playing out. So again, I ask, MAGA, are we great again yet? And when are y'all gonna go out to Texas and all these other areas that need work and start working the fields, since you're a patriotic American? I'm waiting to see when that's going to happen, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
So I happened to scroll down my timeline on Facebook and I happened to see this post right here. And it says Texas farmers are closing down. They can't find no laborers to work their fields. White people can't work in the fields. And that's true, very true. You don't see that many white people or black people working the fields picking fruits and berries. You don't see that many white people or black people working the rooftop jobs. You don't see that many white people or black people installing gas lines, water lines, or doing the yard work. They'll sit there complain, talk about it's too hot, can't do it, I'm getting frustrated and all, I'm scared of heights, or I'm scared to install them gas lines, water lines, they might explode and all. They complain so much about, and they complain they're getting less pay. You see mostly these immigrants doing these jobs. Why these farmers have to close down? Because America is kicking all the immigrants out. And you telling me that they're coming here stealing all the jobs, they're criminals and all send them back to their country. No, they're doing the jobs that we don't do. Understand me, they are doing the jobs that we don't do. Until American citizens do these jobs and all, stop complaining and all. You should be thankful and grateful and appreciate you got people from around the world that come here to do these jobs, that boost our economy, that help build our nation up. Without these people on the field picking fruits and berries and all, won't be no fruits and vegetables on our tables and stores and all. For real. Like, come on now, make no absolute sense on how American citizens hate immigrants, but yet need them to do the jobs that we don't do, for real.
The farming crisis in Texas is showing that America cannot do without immigrants. Immigrants have been essential all along, and all this crackdown is showing that deporting criminals was never the intention. America has already laws to deal with criminals regardless of immigration status. But what we are seeing is many families and hardworking people being treated like threats simply because they lack documentation, And these are mothers, fathers, farm workers, construction workers, long-time residents being portrayed as enemies instead of human beings and who are trying to survive and provide for their families, And this is why so many people believe that this issue has become tied to racism, discrimination, and even hate, because when immigrants are constantly dehumanized and blamed for everything and targeted regardless of their contributions, it stops looking like public safety and start looking like scapegoating. And yet, despite all the hostility, America relies on immigrants on every single day. The food people eat, the farms that feed the country. Immigrants are part of the system, and you cannot build an economy around immigrant labor for decades, and then suddenly you try to remove the workers without massive consequences. And this is why America needs a realistic and a human immigration reform, It needs pathways for hardworking immigrants to legally work, pay taxes, and openly live without constant fear, while also maintaining border security in a practical and humane way. I do believe that both things can exist together. A nation can enforce laws without treating people like they are less than human. Because what is happening now, farmers are losing money, Consumers will likely face higher food prices. Businesses are struggling. Families are being torn apart, Communities are becoming more divided. And the political anger fueling all of this continues to grow while the ordinary people suffer the consequences. And at this moment should be a wake-up call for MAGA voters that policies built on cruelty eventually reaches you. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.